Men in the High Castle is fucking garbage, and it is the worst alternate history show I have ever seen.
Everyone already knew that, though.
Let's talk about it. The plot of The Man in the High Castle is bad. Why is it bad, you may ask? Well, it's boring as hell. It's like, seriously, nothing happens. Let's do lightning rounds for the first, second, and third seasons. Begin. The plot centers around Juliana Crane, a lady who does yoga and martial arts or something. I don't know, it's not relevant to the plot whatsoever, but they keep reminding us for some reason. She has a boyfriend named Frank Fink, and a sister who gives her a magical film that shows her an alternate reality in which the Nazis didn't win. But yeah, the Nazis won World War II. This reality is a reality where the Axis powers raffle-stomped the Allies into the ground and split the world amongst themselves, with the Italians getting a bowl of spaghetti and a pat on the back, and Germany and Japan carving the world amongst themselves. This show takes place pretty much entirely in North America, bar a few scenes in Die Deutsche Republik, yeah. Anyways, there are three nations where the continental US should be. The Japanese Pacific States, the neutral states, and the American Nazi Reich. Shockers. Anyways, her sister gets capped immediately by the Japanese Gestapo named the Kempe Tai, and then Juliana fucking hightails it out of there to get the stone of the resistance. By the way, there's a resistance, because of course there is. Leaving her boyfriend to be beaten and arrested by the Kempe Tai. Way to fucking go. Then they go to the resistance, and they be like, nah, thanks, we don't need you anymore, bitch. Also, there's like a Nazi dude who fought in World War II on the side of the Americans before he got taken over, and he jumped ship to save his family. And his name's John Smith, because there's no creativity in the show. Anyways, Juliana meets up with this dude, and he's like, oh, you're so hot, have this piece of evidence or something. And he's like, Sieg Heil, motherfucker. Yeah, this dude's name is Joe Blake, and he's working for the Nazi dude named John Smith. And because, you know, of course he is. Oh god, I realize this video would take ages if I count every single thing. So lightning speed! The rest of season 1 revolves around like 3 story arcs. The Nazis with John Smith and the Joe dude trying to unearth a vast conspiracy led by this dude to assassinate Hitler and take over the Reich. Then Juliana's wacky wild ride and poor Frank's prison cell story. On to season 2. Hitler dies. Woo! Actually, no, that's a bad thing. Since the dudes from season 1 have taken over the Nazi Reich and all want all-out war with the dirty Japs, which is actually why they want to kill Hitler, because like he was the only thing preventing war with the Japanese, because he was even like, this is a stupid idea. Anyways, this dude is a trade minister for the Japanese. He's not that, well, he's kind of important. He transported himself to another timeline, swiped a piece of film that showed the testing of the hydrogen bomb, then transported it back to the show's main timeline to give it to Nazi John Smith, who gives it to Himmler. Also, Himmler's in the show. And then they arrest this dude and Joe, and is really sad, you know, because it turns out this dude was his dad, and he was supposed to be part of this big Aryan super generation. Anyways, not important. What is Juliana doing at this time? Well, she fucking fled and joined the Nazis. Not really, but she lives with John Smith as a housekeeper or something. And all I can do is roll my eyes. And that's it. And on to, it's Frank's My Life Sucks Ass Right Now, Frank, who joins the resistance. He blows up a building, and that's the story arc. And they try to make him think that he dies, but he doesn't matter. On to season 3. The third season finds John Smith with a cool promotion and a new boss, Lincoln Rockwell, who's his interesting new antagonist. Oh wait, he's dead.
Oh, she passed away? Oh. All right.
Anyways, John Smith is an ally with J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the FBI in our timeline, and John Smith becomes Reich's Marshal for all North America by the end of the season. Joe Blake is brainwashed back into a Nazi super spy and assassinates like 10 dudes living in the Pacific State. And Juliana and the dude who gave John the film have like a study date to figure out what the numbers mean. I'm too lazy to look into it, but that's literally the entirety of season 3. On to season 4, and this one, oh, I have choice words for this one. You may disagree with my opinions that this show is boring and that's subjective, and everyone's allowed to like what they like, and I'm not judging them for that. But everyone, I mean everyone, can agree that this season sucked ass. The main driving force for the season is the Japanese pulling out of the Pacific States. Why? The BCR. We'll talk about them in a minute. But it's basically John Smith and the Germans mopping up the last of the resistance and then taking back the western states, since they are now up for grabs. John Smith takes over the Reich via a good old-fashioned betrayal, and Helen, with some heavy nudging by the resistance, decides to sell John out, and they both die in a pit of dirt, most likely. Also, I know that this may be a shock to some people, but literally the entirety of this show is about parallel worlds and shit, and I left out like an entire other half of the plot that is just about parallel worlds, but I don't care. And I'm sick right now, and I do not have the energy in me to put that in there. So if you want to make me do a follow-up video, I don't know, get me to some amount of subs, I don't care. I don't know, I'll put a sub goal or something if if you want that, but for now, you're not getting that. Anyways, like the other half of the plot is just about parallel worlds, but Jesus Christ, do they fully throw themselves off the bridge now, because the other plot is about the Nazis building a portal to invade other parallel universes. And it sounds insane, and it is, but that's just how the whole tone of the 4th season is. Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The BCR, the Black Communist Rebellion. Now I'll say it right now, they made this season 10 times worse. This season had plenty of things wrong with it, but this just broke the camel's back. Seriously, this show already had these problems. The plot was boring, they had annoying characters apart from 2 really, really good ones and a mediocre one. They rushed the ending, and they had several unfinished, scrapped plot lines that you can blatantly see, like, just throughout the seasons. The thing I think has people most upset was not the fact that it was implausible that this small band of rebels were single-handedly the cause of the entire Japanese Pacific States collapse. No. They pulled that off in Star Wars, and they did it well. But people were the most upset because they were shoehorned in at the last minute with no presence prior. So it becomes highly implausible that they could take down the Japanese. And also, no one cares. No one cared about these new characters and their petty problems, because this is the last season. Amazon made it very clear of that, and no one wanted to get attached when they were trying to watch characters they actually have a connection with and they care about more try to deal with their problems. So no, they're just piling on more unnecessary crap. And also, I don't think anyone liked the ending. And let's talk about the ending for a bit. The ending is about John Smith getting sent to Berlin for a conference on how to invade the Pacific States before being gaslighted by his peers and being shown to Himmler's office before getting a disappointment speech from Himmler himself before John snaps and kills him. Then it's revealed that he made a deal with one general from the German general staff that is now in charge of the Reich, and he gives John full autonomy, which means that John Smith is now in charge of North America and can do whatever the fuck he wants. And in this season has been building to him reuniting the United States, rebuilding back the patriotic nation it once was in World War II. Even his closest advisor, who served him in World War II, was urging him to reform the United States, but no. He decides to go full Nazi, build some delicious gas chambers, and then he commits fucking suicide after the resistance finds him. What a waste of a character. Then the new advisor from earlier is now in charge of North America, and probably decides to do the thing that literally everyone wanted John to do for the entire season, and he stops the bombings and invasion of the Pacific States, and in the BCR, literally wins just from that, even though they would have been raffle stomped. And the whole show ends with 1 billion people flooding through a portal that the Nazis built from the other parallel worlds, and they're just like, we're going to live here now, in this Nazi world, where Nazis are still a thing. Yes. Good. Also, they completely ignore the fact that you need another portal to enter this one, but let's just finish up the video because I'm getting tired. I really shouldn't be the one to tell you that this show is terrible, so I'm going to save you some headaches, and so I'm going to recommend you a movie or something else you can go see that's way better than this shit, and it's still kind of classified as alt history. Not really, but who cares? Watch Death of Stalin. I was originally going to make a video on it way back when, but I just decided, you know what? Why not? I'll just put it and throw it in the script. So if you want to see a good movie that kind of feels like alt history, but it's really not, just watch Death of Stalin. It's got all you want. It's got politics, all that stuff. And it is way better than trying to scratch your head at time travel shit or whatever, parallel worlds, and trying to deal with useless characters and all this stuff. It's a good movie. Watch it. Bye. Subscribe. I don't know.